This podcast is brought to you by ITV Studios. From edge-of-your-seat drama to entertainment with serious buzz, we've got it all and then some. Want in? Head to itvstudios.com or grab the ITV Studios Watch Anywhere app to stream full episodes anytime, even offline. Big drama, bold formats, real stories, all under one roof from ITV Studios.
Hi, I'm Justin Crosby, and welcome to the TellyCast MIPCOM Special, Part 1. Coming up on this week's show, we're going to be speaking to creators, we're going to be speaking to talent, we're going to be speaking to TV industry insiders, and we're going to be speaking to Digital First Studios. So let's get into it. So my first guests on this week's MIPCOM Special Telecast, it's basically four guests in one. We've got Richard Cowles from Lifted Entertainment, we've got Jonty, Nash and Chris Potts from Nobody's Hero, and we've got Emily Atack, and we're going to be talking about Nobody's Fool, which is launching here at Cannes. So welcome everybody, how are you?
Very good, thank you. Enjoy the sunshine.
What you all can't see is that we're all in this little hotel room. It looks like an after party of some kind. It's really fun. It's really fun. We're having a great time.
We are. It's extremely posh as well, which is what you expect in Cannes. So let's talk about Nobody's Fool, which is a really different kind of quiz game show, and it's a whole sort of mashup of different styles. So, Jonty, tell us about the key premise for the show.
Well, if it's okay, I'll start with the inspiration point, because I think that really helps with setting up the premise. And it's basically, well, I wouldn't like to say I'm Chris's muse, but maybe I was a little bit for this, because I'm objectively a stupid person. I think by all measures, but logic, maths, general knowledge, I'm quite a dunce. And when Chris and I first moved to LA, nothing would make him more mad than hearing Americans think that I was intelligent because of my English accent. And he would and we would stew over this. And so for years, we've always sort of talked about this idea of preconceptions of intelligence and just how some people can surprise you both ways. Someone you think is really dumb is really clever, and someone who you think is really clever, like me, is actually a surprising idiot. And we love formats, we love quiz, and we're like, maybe there's something in this idea of putting a quiz inside a house reality show that explores all of these ideas, like the preconceptions of intelligence, having a quiz as this sort of format engine. So again, just to stop rambling like an idiot, in essence, the premise is it's a really fun quiz that takes place in a house where no one knows how well anyone is doing in the quiz. And that really sets the scene for a load of drama, comedy, backstabbing and surprises. So, I've probably done a terrible job. Again, I can't say how much of an idiot I am, but if you pass it over to the smart people, they'll probably help.
Well, Chris, tell us about how it developed, essentially, because it is, like I say, a mashup of different styles and different formats all in one. So just tell us about how you started to piece this together and how you came to work with Richard and Lifted on this.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is that. It's piecing it together. We come up with shows in all kinds of different genres. We come up with game shows, come up with reality shows, come up with competitions. So, yeah, it was kind of a starting point of how do we bring all that into one thing? Will that be too much or will it work? Which we didn't know until we shot it. Turned out it worked, which is good. But, yeah, and it was also, there are so many strategic reality competitions now, or psychological reality competitions, and it's always lots of people in a house, and they're always scheming, they're always backstabbing, they're always being devious in closed corners. But it sometimes feels like that's all that's happening. So we kind of thought, well, if you have this kind of secret quiz going on, it gives all of that other stuff meaning and purpose. Everybody's playing this quiz, everyone's doing the same quiz, everyone's trying to build up this big money prize. Nobody knows who is actually building it up the most and who's just pretending to. And so that question runs through the whole show. and then you have this reason at the end for the classic kind of, okay, we now need to eliminate someone, but it isn't just based on personality, it isn't just based on guessing, it's based on who do we actually think is helping us win the most amount of money here. So that was really the kind of key idea behind it.
So it's not necessarily about how clever you are, it's about how clever other people think you are. Is that right?
Yeah, it's exactly that. You've basically, and this is what we did when we were approaching casting, is you want a group of people who, some are book smart, so they're really clever, they've been to Oxford or Cambridge or whatever, and you know that they are super smart. There are other people who feel that they're equally smart, but they're not necessarily book smart, and they feel that they can play a slightly different game and convince everyone that they're as smart as everyone else. Ultimately, there's sort of different ways within the show that you can prove yourself. So you've got the quiz, which takes place in secret with Emily. No one knows how anyone's done. But then there are also other challenges. There's the smart house itself. So even to get a coffee, you've got to crack some sort of code. So can you go and get people coffee and prove to them that you're smart? Or if someone asks for you for a coffee and you can't make it, you're exposing yourself as a bit of an idiot. And then we have the group challenges, which basically is a way for people to see how other people react and how other people play that game. And are people as smart as they're saying they are, or are they not? And then it all comes to a head in the valuation room, which is super dramatic.
So Richard, tell us about how the co-production, so it's a co-production between Nobody's Hero and Lifted. How did that come about?
So we love Chris and Jonty. They always come with ideas that are slightly, they're sort of familiar, but slightly off kilter and slightly different, which we love. And I think what we always do at Lifted is we try and add a sense of mischief to every show that we do. In Love Island, we take the piss out of ourselves. In I'm a Celebrity, we do the same. And I think what was fun about this was it's a really serious endeavour, but there is a sort of an undercurrent of fun. Everyone is enjoying and relishing the fact that they can quiz hard, lie harder. And then obviously with Emily and Danny, we could just ramp that up, and they sort of embodied the spirit of the show, which is that sense of mischief.
Right, and you on to Emily, and we're going to talk to Emily because you co-host essentially with Danny Dyer, right?
I love that I've come off the back of the word mischief. Thank you. So over to Emily. Yes, I did, and I think Danny and I we're very similar and very different. Same kind of vibes as Chris and Jonty, but I feel like Danny and I, our similarity is that our entire lives were growing up at school, not being hugely academic, but having enough about us to kind of do okay in life, and people underestimated people like me and Danny through school, I think. So that's kind of, we kind of really, we resonate with that. We resonate with the contestants. You've got these Oxford, Cambridge graduate types, bookish, smart, and then you've got these very street smart people, and it's kind of, it's a battle with between those two. And yeah, that's kind of why I was drawn to it, because my whole life I've been judged as a mischievous blonde. Oh, what do you know? But I like proving people wrong in my life. Admittedly my GCSEs spelt out the word fudge, but I've done all right in life, I would say. And yeah, I think Danny and I have always kind of bonded over that. You don't need to be bookish smart to be able to kind of progress and impress people. And in these days, young people especially, they're so worried about their exam results. Don't get me wrong, stay in school, kids, but it's not all about that. And I think and I think me and Danny we kind of celebrate that in the show a lot.
Yeah, and it is about different types of intelligence, isn't it? like you say, you may be bookish and smart and an Oxford graduate, whatever, but you might not be able to figure out how to, I don't know, not quite switch a kettle on, but there may be other practical elements that that you can't quite work out. And is that really what this show sets out to explore?
Completely. And, we love, there's been so many reality shows now. Obviously, we've got our Love Islands, our Big Brothers, everything. And that it's about so many different, it's about a lot of it is about popularity, and but this is literally about how you can outsmart each other. Doesn't matter what background you're from, doesn't matter what kind of education you've had. It just gives it a different edge. I think this kind of show. It's very fresh. I loved it. I got so emotionally involved in it. I mean, I don't want to give anything away, but towards the, I couldn't believe how engulfed I was in it. And at the end, it's just, I find it so incredible. And you do become really involved with these people, and you really care about them. And I think that's kind of what Danny and I, again, we sort of bring to it. Danny will sort of say it a bit more bluntly than me. He'll go, we're not squeaky clean presenters. That's sort of how he says it. We're not squeaky clean presenters, definitely not. I feel like we're more involved. We're kind of more emotionally involved. Because we can't keep our mouths shut and can't keep our opinions to ourselves. So I think that gives it a bit of an edge. Whether or not it's going to go on post Watershed, I don't know with Danny's language, but yeah, it's interesting, and it's a different. It's got an edge to it. Congrats, guys! It's very good. It's amazing.
And how would you describe your on-screen chemistry with Danny then?
Oh, I love Danny. I mean, we've done Rivals together, so I've built such a great friendship with him. He is honestly the funniest person in the world. He says it, the term, says it like it is, he literally says everything that is in his head. He has no filter. He's so funny, and but he's warm, and he cares, and he's got the most caring nature of anyone I've ever worked with. He so cares about people, and yeah, I'm the same. I'm very sensitive to how people are feeling, and Danny and I would go into the room, and the contestants would be sitting there with their slightly scared little faces, but I think we give them a slight sense of relief. We sort of help them through it, and I think personally for me, it felt like we were a bit more involved. And I like to hope that the contestants felt that as well, and sort of felt like, we're going for them. But also Danny will kind of he'll make it obvious when he thinks you're being a bit of a dick. Like, I leave that to him, but yeah, it's different. It's definitely different.
You mentioned, feeling a little bit emotionally connected with some of the contestants then. I mean, tell us about that, without obviously any spoilers, but because you host a part of the show yourself called Quiz Pods, right? Mm. And so explain what the Quiz Pods element is.
Oh, those pods. I loved the Quiz Pod because it's very different to the bits where Danny and I are together, sort of giving out the tasks and things. It's like my one-on-one. So it's the contestants coming into my private little pod, which sounds very odd, but it will make sense when you see it. They come into my pod, and I'm the quiz master, the quiz host, and I literally give them all a quiz. It's the same quiz, and they get their score, but it's up to them. They either lie or tell the truth about how they did in the quiz pod, and that was really lovely for me because I got to be one-on-one with the contestants. I sort of asked them how they're doing a little bit, even if I've got someone in my ear going, "Come on, Emily, move on." I'm like, "How are you, love?" But yeah, that was really nice for me, and I'm really glad I got to do that. And you do get to know them more in that one-on-one thing, and yeah, I really cared. I really did care. So that was really great. I don't know if I've explained that very well, but have I explained that very well? The pod.
I think so. Yeah.
What happens in the Quiz Pod.
No, what happens in Quiz Pod? I didn't know if I was allowed to say this. What happens in Quiz Pod stays in Quiz Pod. Now, this is a phrase I was trying to make it catch on. I don't know if it does. We'll see. But it's meant to be what happens in Quiz Pod stays in Quiz Pod. But they have to explain. They do have to say how they did, and it's up to the other contestants whether they believe the other contestant or not how they did. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Exactly.
Yeah, sort of.
And so the format obviously, plays with this paranoia, deception, and nobody knows who's winning until the end, which is one of the really different sort of twists to it. Did that make it more difficult to film? I mean, that whole, just this very, it sounds complicated, but it's not. When you actually watch it, it's all of this, like I say, the paranoia that you're playing on. I mean, did it make Did it make it more intense to film? This episode of TellyCast is brought to you with Shaftesbury, the hit-making producer behind international series like Murdoch Mysteries, Hudson and Rex, Departure and Hell Motel. Shaftesbury builds worldwide fandoms across digital, live events, Roblox and more, creating entertainment brands that live far beyond the screen. Check out Shaftesbury's Jay Bennett on TellyCast, speaking from MIPCOM 2025, sharing how smart marketing, multi-platform rollouts and innovative IP strategies keep global audiences coming back for more. Shaftesbury, built on legacy, driven by what's next.
I wouldn't say intense. Again, there were other sort of, again, not struggles, but the thing that we really wanted to get right in production is really making sure that the whole show is incredibly play along for the audience at home. So every episode, there's a new quiz in the quiz pod, and thematically, the group challenge and the Smart House challenge is related to that. So, for example, one day was math. And that math. So I've been in America too long. Math. Who am I? Sorry. Apologies, my English family. And then the group challenge was related to maths too. Again, so it gave everyone an opportunity to see how, whether people were potentially telling porkies in how they did in the quiz pod. So I think one of the hardest things was just making sure that we had the quiz and the group challenges really buttoned up in a way that would create all these interesting storylines within the house. And it's a new show, it's a new format, and you just hope that the contestants play the game that you want them to play. And they all did. They all did. It was just, except, again, there are a lot of people very stressed doing a very, very good job. I bumbled around, just really enjoying everything, playing along, watching the quiz pods in the gallery. But Chris, Richard, you want to jump in?
Yeah, no, I think making a first series of any game show is kind of tense and stressful because contestants are being asked to play a new game. They haven't watched it for 10 years on TV, so they, where they're waiting to get on and have their turn. This is completely new to them, and not only that, you're then asking them to play on a game show effectively where they can completely lie about how well they're doing, which is another thing that is not expected when you're on a game show. Normally, everyone can see exactly how well you're doing. So there was always that nervousness of like, are they going to latch on to this new game? And then are they going to play it in the way that we're hoping they're going to play it? But I think the answer was yes to both. So,
but it was so interesting. Sorry, just to jump in, but it was so interesting for Danny and I because, well, especially me doing the quiz pods because they would. I knew exactly how they did in the quiz pod, but then when we got to the what are we calling it? The valuation room. When they all start sort of saying how they did and giving their answers, I know how they did. So then Danny and I, we start to kind of go, and it's kind of like, but we're not allowed to, because if me and Danny start going, at each other, it's kind of obvious, So everyone's got to sort of have a game face on, even Danny and I, and that's kind of where we're all playing a game essentially, because I can't let any of the other contestants know what I'm a bit like a doctor, I'm under oath. I can't whatever's been going on in my quiz pod, I can't let that be known in the evaluation room.
So that's challenging for you as well. There's a bit of not quite deception, but you've got to be poker face, right?
Hugely, and I'm actually terrible at that. So if I see somebody give their amount that they said that they put into the pot, and I know, or when they're talking about how they did in the quiz pod, and I know that actually they did the opposite of that, I have to stop myself going, oh my God. But I'm just standing there like this, like, and there are some moments where Danny and I would start to look at each other and then realise, no, we're not allowed to do that. So it's just so fun. It's so fun. It's great.
And finally, Richard, the show's launching here at MIPCOM to international buyers, and it feels like a format that could really travel as well. I mean, what do you think makes the show stand out to buyers, international buyers?
I think when you see the show and when you see the sizzle and you see the show, you completely get it. It's quite hard to explain. We've found this all the way through. That it's fundamentally quite hard to explain. But the simplicity of it is you go into a quiz pod, you lie about how you've done, and then people can try and catch you out through the day. And then you get to the end, to this final valuation room, and are you able to hold the lies all the way to the end and stay in the competition? And it's really relatable. You watch these people and you do, like as Jonty said, you play along and you're kind of... And you bring all your preconceptions and you think, well, the posh bloke that went to Eton, he must be really clever. And yeah, I'm not sure, that girl, she's a dancer. Does she really? And there's you bring all of your prejudices and then very quickly you realise that actually we don't know anyone and everything is... a really great play-along game as you go through. So, and I think that relates to any market, and it's scalable. We've done it in there's some quite big challenges in there, but you could do it in lots of different ways, depending on what your territory wants.
All right, okay. Well, Emily, thank you very much for joining us. Your first time in Cannes?
It's my first time in Cannes. I love it so much. I was just saying, I didn't think I was a materialistic person. I've been in every single shop pretending that it's not real money. It's, monopoly money. I love the rosé. I've been flirting with the waiters. Sorry to my fiancé. He won't mind. I've had a lovely time and I haven't even been here for 24 hours. So, yeah, I'm having a great time.
Fantastic. Well, Richard, Jonty, Chris and Emily, thank you so much for joining us and good luck with Nobody's Fool.
Thank you.
So I'm here with Elizabeth Berrington and Jodie Whittaker, stars of Frauds, a brand new ITV drama, which has done incredibly well. So congratulations on that.
Thank you very much. We'll take full credit.
Yeah.
Just us two.
Yeah. And we're here in Cannes and you're selling the show internationally and there's lots of international buyers really interested in the show. So for those who haven't seen it, well, it's on ITVX now for UK viewers, but for those who haven't seen it, tell us about what Frauds is.
Well, Frauds is a show that's been created by Suranne Jones and written by Anne-Marie O'Connor. And it centres around, I would say, a group of misfits who, living out in Spain, try and pull off the biggest heist of their lives, which involves a well-known piece of art and a group of very interesting, morally questionable characters, both of which we play some of those parts.
Yeah. So it's a really fascinating story about those friends that you should have dropped a long, long time ago. We've all got
Suranne.
Them. Yeah, but in their questionable moral code, as far as they're concerned, they're all doing the right thing. They're going to do this one job, one and done. And then they'll be out, and then they'll really be able to be living the dream, which they all think they so richly deserved. But they're all running away from something. They've all, they're already living abroad. They've escaped whatever they have wherever they come from.
There's a lot of secrets.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
They're a messy bunch. Messy bitches.
Yeah.
As I do call you and Suranne at one point.
And this was so it's set in Spain.
Yes.
And what was the experience like filming this?
So we shot in Tenerife, which was beautiful. It was really the landscape is so fantastic there because you've got the beautiful kind of arid, we were able to get these incredible drone shots of setting the scene coastal. Yeah, really, and it has a real Western element to it as well. But also within Tenerife, you've got this beautiful, lush kind of greenery as well. So it feels so authentic, but it has this beautiful kind of epicness to it, I suppose, and it feels different to a normal British ITV show because it has this huge Spanish element and with incredible Spanish characters, and it feels for us like we're in a European drama, which is so exciting.
Yeah, it feels like a really lovely, European show with lots of sort of European actors in it, and also that story of the heist, which is so sort of international. So there's definitely something for everyone. And what I love about it is there's women leading from the front and the centre, but there's still plenty of guys in the show who really, really kind of make their mark. But it's also a show that you could comfortably watch with kind of family or young family. You could watch it with your teenagers because there's no women dead in a bush, which I've got a real kind of thing about. This is refreshingly not crime, true crime, but at the same time, there's jeopardy and threat. So you don't, they're all hanging on there by the skin of their teeth, aren't they? So you don't quite know what's going to happen next.
It's interesting you say because it's quite rare for a sort of a female-fronted drama in this style, right? Yeah. It's interesting that it's never been attempted before, but it's massively it's done massively well. And
I think that's the thing. When Suranne and Anne-Marie were creating it, you feel like particularly Suranne, she's such an amazing actress, but she knows what she's sent. She sees the landscape of what's out there, and actually all of our characters feel completely different to anything any of us have played, and so that is why it's such a joy to be in it. And it isn't just, it has this heightened heist, kind of genre setting, but also fundamentally it's about relationships, it's about friendships, it's about guilt, it's about, the toxic nature that some female friendships, and particularly Bert and Sam's, can tread such a fine line between love and hate continually, and it is based within that. But because of Anne-Marie's amazing writing, you can be screaming and shouting at each other and then be absolutely laughing your head off at each other. It has drama within a laugh out loud moments and settings.
Yeah, like Jodie was just saying, that incredible fight, which is so beautifully shot, it's so filmic, that they have in the swimming pool. So it's both sort of beautiful, but really, really real. Yeah. And it's possibly the first time that you see Suranne's character, Bert, thrown when she suddenly is faced with Sam's dark side. So she knows that this girl's going to throttle her unless she can come up with the right answer. But then somehow, after this really brutal in-swimming pool slap up, knock up, they end up having a sort of laugh about it. And also something else which you said as well about northern accents here in Cannes. There's quite a lot of sort of northern comedy vibes going on.
Anne-Marie, the writer's from Bradford, and you can absolutely tell there's a lot of wit within it.
Yeah, so that's nice. Nice.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us, guys. It was congratulations on Fraught. It looks fantastic.
Thank you very much.
It's really, really enjoyable. So, and I'm sure it's going to sell really, really well at this marketplace. and thank you again. We'll see you very soon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So I'm here with Mike Beale, who's Managing Director of Creative Network at ITV Studios. Mike, hello.
Hi, Justin. How are you doing?
I'm all right. I'm very, very good. We're day one of MIPCOM.
Feels like day 5.
Yeah. And it's obviously a really big event for ITV Studios. So first of all, tell us about your role at ITV Studios. What does that mean, the Managing Director of Creative Network?
Yeah, sure. So we decided, obviously we're 13 countries, 60 plus labels. But what we want to make sure we're doing is making sure that we're working together and that we're not sitting in silos. So part of my role is to make sure we're all talking to each other. That's both studios production and global partnerships, our distribution arm. So I sit in a role that works across those things, digital, gaming, any sort of vertical that we might be doing. On the format side specifically, we try and drive a creative brief within ITV Studios. What do we need? What does the world need? And how do we deliver that? I'm also responsible for third-party formats coming into ITV Studios and to some extent onto the network. We work closely with ITV Network, of course. And then finally, I have a team that sort of manage all the brands, format brands. So operating out of Hilversum, they fly around the world and make sure the shows are well made, made to brand, and made safely.
And these are some of the biggest TV brands in the world, aren't they? So give us an idea of a few of the brands that we're talking about. So those key brands,
it's The Voice and all of its many spin-offs with kids and seniors and generations and rappers. It's Love Island in its various forms around the world. Hell's Kitchen, that's still travelling well for us. Come Dine With Me. and I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here is the other one that we spend a lot of our time on. And then below that is a plethora of other shows that we're excited about, especially obviously the ones we've launched in the last couple of years. And sort of just trying to get them going and push them through things like Party to Die For, which came out of Holland, and Double the Money, which came out of South Shore in the UK, which are starting to travel now. As you would have seen our press conference this morning, we announced a sale in Spain for that. So we are a support function, I guess, within ITV Studios to help drive and support the format community.
Yeah. Now, MIPCOM is obviously, a really crucial event in the calendar for many media businesses, and ITV Studios is obviously no exception to that. So you really use this event to launch new formats to international buyers here, of course, and new shows. Give us a taste of what you've unveiled at MIPCOM this year.
Yeah, sure. It's definitely a great moment in time to focus everybody on the new stuff. So we've launched 4 new original formats here. Nobody's Fool, which will be coming to ITV1 next year. Celebrity Sabotage, also for ITV1. Then we've got... Now you're testing me. Worlds Apart, which launched on Channel 4 just last week. And Time is Money, a new quiz for ITV1. But we also announced a new development deal with banjo formats with Carsten Bartolin and Kenneth Christensen from Denmark. Because we're still wanting to push that creative drive within ITV Studios. So it's a good moment, and look, everybody's focused on what they're doing for 26, probably 27 now already, and we can see everybody and tell them what we're up to. And alongside, obviously, the London screenings in February, it gives us a great moment or 2 moments within the year to say what's going on.
Yeah. Now, MIPCOM's key theme this year is creator economy. So tell us a little bit about how ITV Studios is approaching the creator economy.
Yeah, sure. I mean, we've been doing a lot of work with creators already through our sort of key brands over a few years, actually. Sort of The Voice, Saturday Night Takeaway originally, and more recently Love Island, where they want to talk about our brands and talk about our shows, but that's definitely sort of the low-hanging fruit. I think the next stage for us is how do we work with them closely, and I think that's in 2 key ways. Is how do we help them create? How do we help? They create an awful lot of content, and we know now that we develop an awful lot of content. How do those 2 worlds marry? I think we've got to learn that. Actually, both sides have got to learn that. How could we do things together? And you can see within the creator economy, even the biggest ones, they're going back to their television heritage to make their content. So why not create television heritage? And then the other thing is there's still a desire from creators. I mean, the last time I was at your event, you had 4 creators on stage all saying they would like to get onto television. So that desire is still there. And we've seen it with Mr. Beast and the Sidemen, both going to, one to Amazon, one to Netflix. So it can be a 2-way street. So we've just got to learn how we make that work.
And talking about digital content form, neat segue there to what we're going to be doing together, which we can talk about now, which is basically Digital Formats Lounge, the bridge that we ran last year. But this year we're doing something different with you guys, which is going to be really interesting. And so you're going to be bringing a number of your brands essentially along, studio labels along.
Yeah, so I think I told you as I told them we were doing it, the number that signed up for it already are incredible. They want to meet these creators. They're talent. They're amazing talent that we want to work with. So, but hard to meet. How do we get in touch with these people? How do we tell them what we do? So it's a brilliant opportunity for our labels to sit down with those creators, and for those creators to sit down with our labels and start to answer this question that I've just posed. Is how and what do we do together? And there's no rules. It's proper partnerships. How can we help you in your world? And therefore, and then how can we potentially help you come into ours? And hopefully on that journey we both learn something.
Proper creative collaboration.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's what will lie at the heart. I mean, they're called creators, as are we. And I have a firm belief that there's a lot of talk here about television and YouTube, and I have a firm belief that those two ecosystems do operate in perfect harmony. Yeah. We have to adapt in how we take advantage of that.
Yeah. Well, we're bringing along a number of creators to meet with your team, so that's going to be really fascinating to see what comes out of that. So that's really exciting. So we'll see you there.
Looking forward to it.
6th of November, BFI South Bank. Mike, great to see you. Have a great MIPCOM.
Thanks very much, Justin. Take care.
So I'm here with Neil Francis from Night Train Digital. Neil, how are you doing?
Very well, thank you. Thank you for having me. Good to be here.
Great to have you on the show. Here we are at MIPCOM. We're here on the beach.
Beautiful.
The sun's out. It's a beautiful day. So Night Train Digital is a relatively new entrant to the digital first space, although I think maybe a year or so have been established, maybe a little longer than that.
2 years now. I'm on week 3, but the digital team has been in place for nearly a couple of years. Essentially, as a starting point to exploit the rights across the Night Train media group. So Night Train made up of Echo Rights, Bossa Nova, Curve Media. Exploit the rights and the productions that are happening across the group on digital. But hopefully, as we move forward, looking to make some more digital-first content and that kind of thing as well.
Yeah, well, you had a really interesting announcement a week or so ago, which was you're going into business with Spirit Studios to create a microdrama series.
Yeah.
So for those who may have missed that, tell us a bit about that.
So we have co-funded a development project to begin with Spirit Studios, looking to develop a micro drama between 60 to 90 episodes potentially, looking to put a writing group together from both the traditional kind of TV writing space, but also looking for some online talent, online storytellers from the UK who can get together and look to write a drama for us. Like I say, very much a development project, an experiment for both of us, but feels like a really good synergy. And to see what comes out of it, really, and then look at what the distribution plans are from there once we get it off the ground.
Well, when I saw that announcement, I mean, to me it was, it felt like a real shift in the industry, certainly in the UK, when because obviously what we've seen in a lot of microdrama is content that's produced in China, or a certain type of content that you might not necessarily call premium, but obviously shot on a very, very low budget. But this is, two established creators and distribution companies who are, grown-ups in the TV space, if you like, in the digital space.
Yep.
So I thought that was really interesting, a real sign of the microdrama movement kind of professionalizing in a little way, or certainly the content.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, it definitely feels like microdrama is the kind of hot topic at the moment. Like, even speaking to people here in the last day or so, it feels like there's a boom. And I don't know if you even saw, I read over the weekend about Fox investing in Holy Water.
That's right.
And so it definitely feels like there's a movement from the more traditional world into that space. And we saw the same thing. We've been tracking for a while, like the team, even before I joined, have been tracking the kind of growth in the microdrama space. But just that shift in kind of audience consumption, I guess, to the shorter form content style. And then when Spirit got in touch with Night Train about this partnership, it felt like a really nice move for us to make, really interesting area to go into, both from the Night Train scripted content team, but also the digital side as well. Like this will be a first even internally for us to work really closely together on a project. So that's a nice piece, especially as we look forward to the vision on the digital side for sure. But like you say, hopefully being a kind of pioneer in the UK market for that, and definitely professionalising that kind of content quality for sure.
Yeah, well, that's really exciting. You're right, but yes, Fox taking an equity stake in Holy Water was a story that just broke. I've actually just sat in the panel session where the guys from Holy Water were talking about their business models, and very, very exciting because they're also talking about moving into. They want to talk about it as vertical video, not just microdrama. They're looking with Fox into the opportunities for unscripted as well when it comes to vertical. So I think it's a really interesting time that. The number of media companies are exploring this space, and I guess it's all going to be test and learn in the digital first way, isn't it?
Yeah, that's exactly how we see it. But I also like to see it that because I think there's often like a gap between the traditional TV world and digital, and maybe a fear in that space in a way around digital. I like to see it that the kind of storytelling and putting a story and a piece of content together doesn't really change that much. Microdrama maybe changes how it's put together in a way, but ultimately it's just like where and how it's consumed that is evolving over time. And just keeping up with that and making sure you're where the audience are, I think is the most important thing.
So, from a distributor's perspective, then, working in vertical drama, and what is the model? Because up to this point, it's kind of app based. As many, there's probably half a dozen major companies like Real Shorts and a number of others who have done incredibly well, and kind of almost micropayment approach.
Yes.
What's your view? It's probably too early to talk about that in detail, but would that sort of distribution deal need to be exclusive with one app, for example, or is there an opportunity to talk about other social platforms?
Yeah, I see it in kind of two ways. Like you say, it's very early. Some of those conversations are only just underway with various platforms around how we might distribute with them and potentially fund the project, right? And after the kind of development stage. From my side on the digital sphere from Night Train, I see it as two different pieces. So firstly, those short form pieces of content and looking at platforms to host those and distribute. From my side, the other interesting part is if you build a fan base and an IP for that, how can I take that, all of those shorts stitched together as a single long form piece of content and also distribute that through our channels, potentially on platforms like YouTube as well.
Oh, that's really interesting. So that's is that the approach then? You're looking at this both as a long form and short form project?
For sure. And so like we definitely want to lean into that true short microdrama pieces of content as in, and it's a very difficult format, right? It's specific in the sense of you need to tell a story each 60 to 90 seconds. You need to leave every single part of it on a cliffhanger to make people want to come back for the next episode, but also find a way that story flows throughout all of the pieces of content, which is where the interest for me, when you stitch it together as a long form piece, that will be a really interesting story to view it as a 60 to 90 minute piece of content. Will be really interesting from my side. Longer term, when we look at distribution, especially with the Night Train scripted team, we're almost, depending on the success of this, we would like to think there's a world where these short form microdramas potentially get a fan base and an IP to such a level that we can use it as a kind of experiment ground to then go and potentially commission a full long form TV series or a digital first series where the fan base is behind it, and then you maybe use it as a commissioning tool into a more traditional piece of content. So there's various ways to look at it, definitely down the platform route and supporting that kind of boom, but also that longer form piece as well potentially.
And we're speaking to Matt Campion tomorrow, so I'll be interested in chatting with Matt about what sort of role AI might play in this, because obviously it's hugely helpful for reducing cost, and certainly hearing the guys from Holy Water, AI is completely integrated. The data that they're using and using in production as well is hugely important. So that's going to be interesting to see if I can tease some information out of Matt tomorrow. For
sure. Like from our side, I think as a project, we definitely want to lean in to AI to see how it can help us. We don't know is the true answer how we're really going to use it yet. I still think there's an element of hesitancy, I guess, from the more traditional world in kind of jumping all in. My personal view on AI is you should absolutely use it as a tool to help you be more efficient, save costs. But you still need the creators to be creative. You still need the person to think of ideas behind it. We'll still need the writers to put the piece together. But how can the tools help them be more efficient in their processes as well?
That's important to underline, that you will have human writers as opposed
Absolutely.
to AI writers.
Yes, it will be human first.
Yes.
With tools to assist them rather than let's get AI to write us a script and have some writers tweak it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're still absolutely going to base ourselves in that creativity and try and promote the talent that exists in those digital first spaces. There's plenty of writers, storytellers, creators in the UK that aren't necessarily getting the attention from traditional TV. This may be a way to bridge that gap and shine a light on the talent that's out there.
Yeah. And obviously AI projects is not new to Night Train Digital. You were involved in the Michael Parkinson podcast reboot, which how's that gone?
Yes, it was successful in terms of another experiment, right? And so it was before my time. But what we wanted to do with Parkinson and team is to almost bring back to life, right? And have that very famous interview style brought back to life. And it was another successful project for us where we could test and learn what works, learn what doesn't work, and feed that into future projects as well. And that's what we'll be continuing to do in that digital first space as we look to invest in some content or strategies around what content we potentially acquire in that space to be successful.
I mean, you say you've just been here for 3 weeks at Night Train. I mean, looking at Night Train, I'm really impressed with the way that you're approaching projects that other companies might shy away from. There might be a little bit, I mean, the Michael Parkinson project in particular was really noisy, and it caused, quite a lot of comment, but which is a good thing, I think, But what's next then for Night Train?
Well, I think we need to, 3 weeks in view, we need to maximise first. My view is maximise what we've got access to. Yeah. So definitely kind of bring together all of the content that's across the group, and maximise what we're doing with all of those rights, and bring those teams closer together with the digital team and try and work together more on those. Longer term, I would love us to be in a place where we really dive into digital first content, potentially looking at some creator-led content. So again, this is why this microdrama is such a nice project to bridge the gap between traditional and the digital team, but very much as a view forward as well, looking at how we work with talent that's already doing well on the various digital platforms, but maybe give them an opportunity to make some more traditional style content with the background that we have around commissioning shows, is an exciting area for me to look into. There's lots of opportunity out there. It's for me to decide where we should focus our time. Yeah. I don't know that yet, is the true answer.
Yes, okay. Well, maybe you'll come back on the show in a few months' time. And,
I would love to. But before the end of the year, we'll have a very clear strategy in place for 2026 and beyond. And I would love to come and share that.
Fantastic. Well, good luck at the market. I hope it goes well for you. And we'll see you again soon.
Lovely. Thank you very much.
Thanks. So I'm here with Bogdan and Anatoly from Holy Water. Guys, hello. Welcome to TellyCast.
Hello. Thank you for inviting.
Yeah, not at all. And you guys are the talk of the market, I have to say. And, big announcement last week.
That's because of our shirts.
Yeah, that's it. Well, that's it. Yeah, and I love the branding as well. That's very creative. Love it. So listen, for those who don't know about Holy Water, give us a bit of a brief rundown on your business.
Yeah. So Holy Water is an entertainment network We have different apps. Each app represents a different content form. We have a books platform, My Passion. It's now one of the biggest independent books publishing platforms in the world. So we test hundreds of books per month, and the best books we turn into vertical video series at our platform, My Drama, which is our biggest product. It's called microdrama sometimes by the industry. We have 55 million users right now, and also experiment a lot with AI to optimize our content production and speed of production.
Yeah, well, I was going to say that I think AI must be integral to you. I mean, you use it in presumably at all points of the production process, from development right the way through to production and post-production, right?
Yeah. So basically, we have two types of streams. So we use AI to speed up some things, for example, localization, dubbing, that already available commercially models like 11 Lab that you can use it without any risks. And another stream that we use is to create like pilots, AI pilots, to get data very quickly. And again, we also built on top of foundation models like VO3, Sora, that help us to create content, and we know that those foundation models take risk for anything.
Right. Okay. And so just for clarity, so for My Drama, for example, is that all AI generated, generative AI content, or is there any live filming at all?
It's not AI, it's live filming. So we just produce like in 3 months one vertical show. It's very fast, very efficient. It's like 10 times cheaper, 10 times faster than anything done in traditional.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I watched your panel discussion yesterday. It was really, really fascinating when you were on stage with Fox Entertainment, who have just invested and bought equity in Holy Water, which is really exciting. So tell us a little bit about what that deal means for you as a business.
Yeah. So for us, it means, first of all, access to great IPs that are already loved by the audience in the United States, which is our main market and which is our biggest market as well. And it's going to be like that in the future as well. So access to IPs, and also an opportunity to elevate the quality of verticals right now, because the space is called microdrama right now by a lot of people. And microdrama is about this genre that was invented in China. So basically the Chinese competitors recycle 5 tropes in different settings. We believe that vertical is just another form of entertainment, and it's going to be huge, and we have to go beyond microdrama. And this partnership with Fox is the opportunity to go beyond. So elevation of quality is the second thing, and also the quantity of series that we are producing. We want to become the top 1 vertical video streaming in the world. In order to do that, we have to double down on the quantity of content, and this is what we are going to achieve with Fox. So access to talent, IPs, then quantity of content, and then the elevation of quality together with them.
So this feels like a really pivotal moment for vertical drama, to use that term again, but where we're going to see some famous household names appearing in vertical drama. I mean, in terms of the business model for that, obviously, Hollywood talent is not cheap. How do you, without talking to it about any particular deal, but in principle, how would you see that working? Would you see A-list talent be a partner in a project, as opposed to having a $10 million contract to appear in a vertical video?
Yeah, I think that there is some indication of interest from A-list celebrities, and we already have them. So I think there will be more and more people actually indicating interest, because vertical series is just one of the forms of entertainment and engaging your audience. And most of the actors and companies want to be where the audience is, and the audience spends a lot of time on social, and verticals are perfect for social. So I'm assuming that a lot of A-list celebrities and talent agencies are already looking into this space and taking it seriously.
Yeah. Anatoly, tell me a little bit about user behavior on these apps, because, again, you're looking at all the data, and it's really crucial for development. When are consumers, using it? Presumably it's on their way to work or lunch breaks or things like that. Just give us a sense of when you see these user spikes during the day.
Yeah, so I would say it's basically competition to social media, and engagement and data very similar to social. So people watch in chunks, and time goes very fast, the same as you scrolling like TikTok or YouTube Shorts. Like 30 minutes feels like 1 minute, and that's how user engagement looks like. And basically, it's more competition and getting audience from social media to higher quality content as vertical series.
And when you're producing content, so on average, how long is the drama that both per episode, and how long is the one piece of content that you produce to cut that up essentially?
Yeah, so basically it's like feature movies around 70-80 minutes cut into like 1 minute episode, with average 1 minute, and we produce like in 3 months from idea to ready production and launch.
Would it be, in terms of the way that you produce it, could you watch that as a 90-minute feature movie? I mean, would it work as one piece of content, or because you have to have kind of cliffhangers every 90 seconds or something, right? Is that the sort of general kind of, cadence of or the length of an episode? Just talk us through that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, audience love our content, and basically it's the same that you can watch 60 minutes on TikTok. And content is very catchy. It's based on hooks, so a lot of people actually watch in one go the whole series because the time flies fast, and it's just new way to reach audience, to engage with the audience. And our content is much more engaged even what Netflix produce. Because at least that's what we see on social media, and our content is built for this kind of social media consumption.
Right. Okay. And do we see, in terms of business model going forward, Bogdan? I mean, obviously at the moment the business model is based on an app, and it's kind of closed garden, if you like, or situation. Do you think that we'll see eventually that moving across to general vertical social video channels, as opposed to being kind of living within its own app?
Yeah, sure. Our content will be where our audience is. I think the first window will be mostly on our platform, but once we see a potential, for example, to spread our content and creativity of our creators to, for example, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, they're going to publish there as well. We're already doing experiments, publishing our series over there as a second window, as a third window, and it works really fine. So it's one of our distribution channels. Yes, that's the way we see it.
Okay. And tell us about the team then. Give us an idea of how big your team. So you guys are from Ukraine, right?
They're originally from Ukraine, yes.
Yeah. And so do you have a team still in Ukraine? But I imagine you've relocated to Los Angeles or certainly in the States.
So we still have team in Ukraine because Ukraine has amazing technical talent in terms of developers, and they're much cheaper than, for example, developers in the United States or in Europe in general. So there is still a big team in Ukraine, and most of the leadership team right now is based in Portugal. We also have an office in Cyprus, and I spend 50% of my time in Los Angeles. I think next year it might be even more. But we mostly spend, myself and Antonio spend time around Portugal and Los Angeles, yes.
Yeah, but presumably your production, when it comes to the projects you're working on with Fox, is going to be LA-based, right?
Yes, mostly, yes. Yeah. But it's not just LA, it's going to be across the world, yes.
Right. Exciting. Well, you started the business in 2020, is that
correct?
Right?
Yes.
So 5 years, and now Fox is already invested in you. What a journey, right? Did you start 5 years ago with this very clear vision in mind, or is it something that you iterated as you went through the 5 years?
Yeah, there is a guy, I think it was Hoffman, from the founder of LinkedIn. He compared building a startup as like you jump from a cliff and you build a plane on the way down to the ground. So it feels exactly like that. I was reading about this as theory before, but now I feel it in practice. So this is exactly what we did. We built a plane while we were falling down from the cliff.
Yeah. And so the first project, I think I heard in your panel session that is going to launch probably around the beginning of next year. Is that right? Is that
the first project with Fox? You mean? Yeah. I think it's going to be sooner. It's going to be this year.
You're in production now, right?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Exciting. Well, you, as I said, you're the kind of the talk of the market a little bit. A lot of people are talking about you. You're going from one meeting to another, so I'm delighted that you spared a little bit of time with us. So I want to wish you all the best of luck. We'll be watching your development really closely and wishing you all the best.
Thank you, Justin, for inviting. Yeah, pleasure.
Thank you.
So I'm here with two of the UK's best-known creators, or three of the best UK's best-known creators, and Ben Doyle as well from After Party Studios. So we've got Ben Doyle from After Party Studios, we've got Specs Gonzalez, we've got Nella Rose, and we've got Callum McGinley, Callux as well. From After Party Studios. Guys, welcome to TellyCast. Great to see you.
Great to see you, Justin.
And you've just announced a new show. Nella, tell us a little bit about what you've just announced today.
So basically, I'm known for being a judge online. I'm known for putting straight men into their places. So I thought, why not make my own show where I could just have the liberty to do just that? I'm talking lie detectors, paternity tests, all the drama. Yeah.
All right, fantastic. And Specs, great to see you here.
Thank you.
How are you doing? You're obviously a host of a number of After Party shows. Tell us about what the projects you work on with After Party.
Sky Sports Scenes is one of the my main projects with After Party, because obviously it's the third year.
Award-winning,
I would say. Got to check my mirrors are on the floor there, sorry. And of course, Hear Me Out, the show with Channel 4.0. Where I host Nella saying these crazy takes in front of the public and trying to win them over. So it's been great.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, it's great to see you here. And obviously this year, creator economy and digital video as a whole has kind of been embraced finally by MIPCOM, which is great to see. You guys have been in this space for a long time, right? So it must be exciting to see the market coming to you a little bit. Is that what it feels like?
Definitely, we've been doing it for 9 years. I met Cal 10 years ago on a branded entertainment shoot for KFC. And that was so far ahead of its time when I think back to it. My bosses at BBH dreamt it up. And they obviously had a crystal ball or something. They could see what was coming a decade later. But yeah, it's amazing. It's nice to feel embraced. I think we've been banging the drum for years and years and years. This lot have never stopped doing what they were great at. This has never changed. And it's nice to see that this world has come to them. We were just walking down here. Nella's face is on the billboard out there. How crazy in the middle of Cannes. Unreal. And I think it's nice to feel like the worlds are merging. I think that we never see it ourselves anyway as us and them, that it's we're in the digital world and they're in the traditional world. I think young audiences see content full stop. They don't really think about where it is or what it is. They just want to see their favorite people doing the things that this lot want to do and them reaching their audience in the most direct and unfiltered way possible. So it's amazing to be here, and it's amazing to see the amount of fun conversations that have happened even in this morning since that talk is it's great.
Yeah, and it's really interesting to see every major media group here is now talking about having a creator economy strategy. I'm not sure if they had one 12 months ago, but they've got one now.
That's all that matters.
One, right? Exactly.
I mean, it's better than some other industries, though, I think. It's just an advertising event where the advertising world is fixated on 30-second TV ads and it denies the existence of YouTube. So, this is miles ahead, which is great.
Yeah. And now, guys, is it first time in Cannes for you?
I picked up the mic from Ben to tell you about that. It's night and day between when I last came here. I think I came here in 2017, 2018. And it is night and day. I stood up on stage with, I think, Maker Studios at the time. And we spoke about a project that was coming. Mm-hmm. So it's very cool that we're here again. How many years? 8 years later? Yeah. To speak about that again. But it's night and everyone's super excited about Nella's show. They didn't give a shit about mine. Sorry for my language. They didn't care about mine. Mine didn't get commissioned.
You were ahead of the game there.
So it's really interesting, and it's amazing that it's finally happened, because there were some points where After Party, the direction, the vision could have strayed away from what it was, and I think the beautiful thing that all down to this guy really, because I've had some crazy ideas. I'm full of them, but he's kept us on the right track over time. So shout out to Ben for believing in the vision from day one.
Yeah. Well, it must be really gratifying to see that. I mean, tell us a bit, for those who don't know After Party Studios, tell us a little bit about the business, and because you seem to be growing all the time. Every time I go on your website, there's more and more faces on there.
But it's this line again. It all comes back to everything comes back to the audience. All we have done for the last decade is just make what the audience wants to make, so we started. So the backstory started in 2016 with Cal and I. My background's traditional. I'm a director. Cal's obviously a creator. And we were meet in the middle of these two worlds where there was a tension where we were on the shoot that we met on. We could feel that in the middle of this, Cal was just trying to make jump off a boat, and then production, the side that I was on, we were like, you can't jump off the boat because the client didn't agree and the insurance ain't signed and da-da-da. And Cal was like, but the thumbnail and the title, that's all that mattered. And so we came back and we were talking like, if we made that ourselves, what would we make? And that was where After Party came about. And then, the 9 years since then, seen us grow into now 32, maybe more people that have... I think that, and it feels like all we have done is just constantly come back to this thing of just making the stuff that these guys want to be in, serving their audiences in authentic ways. And it's attracted talent from across the industry, from both the digital and the traditional worlds, that are just like the best in the business at interpreting what the audience is saying, what they want. Also, it's like, how do you innovate? The Nella Rose show is like, how do you go and take, it's the Henry Ford thing of like, don't want a faster horse. Like, what's the car? How do we invent new formats? Now we're seeing the streamers coming along and coming into space. And we are constantly just like, how do we be at the forefront of this and keep pushing the space forward? Is what we've kind of done ever since back in one of our first projects that was KSI Can't Lose, a feature documentary that Sony Pictures picked up. And back then, no one used to think about spend more than, like, everyone was just self-shooting YouTube videos. And then we were like, let's spend 6 months making a long documentary. But I mean, you guys can speak to it more. You've seen the space. Yeah. You've seen the space change. Like night and day.
I feel like before it was more like with YouTube, you was your own director, producer, editor. You was the sound guy. You did the lights with the little soft boxes and the ring lights all set up. And now that's kind of like the content that people don't really want to see anymore. They want big productions. They want their favorite YouTubers, creators being authentically themselves in like bigger productions. Like, I couldn't produce something where it's like 20 versus 1 and I'm in a white box and I'm telling men, get in there. Like, it's good that production companies like After Party even give us the opportunity to do these fun shows, because then I can add it to my show reel. So it's great. It's a win-win for everybody. Honestly, I love it here. Yeah.
So Specs, tell us about what's next for you. What's because you're super busy as well. We've seen your success over the last few years has been fantastic to see. So what's next for you?
Well, I've been all over the place. One day I wake up, I want to do YouTube. Next minute I want to be a musician. Yep. As you can see, I'm doing music for some reason. There's no rules. But what's most important for me is like any idea I have. Like, for example, now I'm focused on my normal show. I know I can, speak to Ben, speak to Cowles After Party, and actually execute my idea. Because obviously, as Nella was saying, it does cost, for YouTubers to do a high, production video. But now it's like, if I've got an idea, people at After Party can really just execute it and get it out there. Yeah. So, facilitate. So, for me, my dream is to do it, and I'm going to propose this to the boys right now in front of you guys.
Okay. Brilliant. Here we go.
Cowles and Ben.
Exclusive here.
Cowles and Ben, I would like to make a song with Sophie Alex Baxter. Right. Nella's going to talk in the intro and the outro. Yep. And I want the music video to be in Cannes.
Yes.
And I don't mind TellyCast as well. Okay. You guys can, interview us straight after.
Perfect.
Can that be done?
Be in the music video.
Be in the music video.
Yeah, can I be in?
Yeah,
exactly.
We'll use this for the music video.
Done deal.
Yeah, done deal.
We just shoot it here. Look.
There we go.
Look at it.
That's the beauty.
Okay.
Execute my idea.
That's a year's time, 12 months, Ben. Come on, make it happen.
We're all about making dreams come true, That's what it is, isn't it?
Well, and then finally, so the Nella Rose show. I mean, ultimately, that is a show. Obviously, digital first world. It means the content doesn't necessarily stay in one place. It can, as you talked about earlier on, it can possibly, we might see it on a major streamer in the coming months or years. That's got to be exciting. This whole opportunity is opening up for you, Nella. So it's great to see.
I don't know. I feel like with the Nella Rose show, it's something that people have been waiting for me to do for years. I feel like when I come out, we have come out and like announced it. It's like, oh, duh. Like, how come she hasn't got the Nella Rose show? So it's going to be great. We're going to be humbling straight men. So hide. Go and hide. I'm out there. I'm coming for everybody. Thank you.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having
you're
us.
incredible. You were 5 minutes late to the interview because everybody's stopping you on the croissant all the way up.
Sorry about that.
It's like
everything's going to be okay.
You're stopping the show. Brilliant.
No one was stopping me, so I'll be here on time.
All right, all the best, guys. Can't wait to see what's next.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thanks for having us. And what a view.
Perfect. Wow. I'm here with Victor Benson from Simon Entertainment. How are you doing, Victor?
I am slightly hungover, but fantastic. Like, not actually hungover, more like there's so much champagne here. It's crazy. Like,
Yeah.
everywhere you go, it smells like champagne and cigars, you know? But it's been fun. I'm doing good.
Yeah, well, we're in Cannes for MIPCOM, and MIPCOM has kind of announced the arrival of the creator economy. I mean, the creator economy has kind of been growing and growing and growing for the last 10 years or more. But obviously now it feels like a lot of the traditional legacy media companies are now waking up to the creator economy and the opportunity there. Now, obviously, you've Sidemen, the Europe's or one of the world's biggest creator groups, creator collectives, and you've had an enormous amount of success with Inside, which is your own format. Tell us about that, Victor.
Yeah, I mean, the boys have been creating content for, the past 10, 15 years, individually or as the group, Sidemen. And I think since we started building out the company 4 or 5 years ago, the plan was always to be like, what do we do if we don't do what we're doing now? And their initial creative thinking was kind of like, what does a big brother look like for Gen Z? So we created the show last summer and pushed it out in June or July in 24. Obviously got the attention of a bunch of different streamers and decided to go with Netflix to produce, following seasons. The UK one hit number 2. The American one went live a month ago and hit number 1. So now they get to walk around and say they had a Netflix number 1.
Number 1 in America.
Not number 1 in America, which maybe we'll get to one day. I think it's for us to see the format as it is. And we realize that we have a global audience. So it did incredibly well around the world. And funnily enough, probably like hitting the UK more than we thought it would. And then really hitting the Nordics. I just met with someone from Malta who were like saying that it was all over their island, like as it went live. And they were like kids were having watch parties for the finale. And we were like, oh, we have no idea. So I think for the first time really with this show, if you don't watch The Sidemen, we might be also like talking to an audience that we don't necessarily have. And that's exciting.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, I mean, we're doing TV. Like, we're making TV.
You're making TV. Well, what's next? A movie?
I mean, I think there's so much exciting stuff now. So, like, we didn't even know the lingo, really, back a few years ago. So, like, what you guys, not necessarily you, Justin, but, like, the industry. So, like, unscripted, what does it mean? It's basically anything that's not scripted. So now we took a stab at, unscripted is not completely different to what the Sidemen do. It's an unscripted show, what we do on our YouTube channels. Unscripted in reality TV format is still more scripted, I would say, than, how unscripted we are. So I think scripted would be super exciting to take a look at. Not immediately. I think we want to keep on building further IP. One big thing we obviously have is this Sidemen charity match, which we did at Wembley this spring. And looking at how that IP can continue and thrive and maybe, look at live events would be exciting as well. Like, how do we continue doing things that have been really successful? But I think in the next 3 to 5 years, it would be super exciting to see, like, YouTubers and creators come together to maybe make this generation's in-betweeners or like Silicon Valley, but for the YouTube space and like something like that, and getting behind that would be really, really exciting.
And I can completely see that happening, and it is really exciting to see this development. And again, what's really means the real digital first ethos, if you like, that the Sidemen have been true to all the way through, and now that the industry's moving towards you. And I mean, you must be getting, approached on a weekly basis with different ideas, and TV companies thinking, we want those guys and we want their audience, because all of our audience has left and gone to social, right? So that's essentially what they want. I mean, do you find that you're batting off approaches all the time, or how does that work?
I think, like, I say this all the time, like, I feel like I'm offensive on purpose. I say this sentence all the time, which isn't necessarily to be like offensive to the people, because what I do think it exists now is an industry where so many talented people sit within such great companies when it comes to individual skill. It's more the infrastructure and the intention and the strategy of how they treat those people that I disagree with. And I think we've lost a bit of the fun. It's like we look back at early days MTV, we look at what Jackass was, we look at almost like before the millennials. I speak to my dad about this a lot. He was like, there was this moment in time where everyone just made shit TV. It was the greatest thing in the 90s. And I'm like, what happened? It became glossy, it became pretty, it became overproduced. and it took longer and longer, and it became prettier and prettier. And we're kind of now ripping it back to being like, hi, anyone who would like to go back to that fun era, that's kind of what we want to do. We want to make fun content that doesn't have to look perfect. I mean, we have this, another guy that used this as well. It's like, how much does a laugh cost? Like, how much should you have to spend in order to make someone laugh? Because often genuine like connection between an audience and a creator or a production company or a film or a series or whatever comes at being real. And it doesn't come at how much you manage to squeeze out of something. Of course, I want to have like sustainable salaries. I want to have people be able to make a living out of this. But I think there is a time and a place now where we can challenge what it means to work in production. And I'm getting those pings. And that's just exciting. Seeing people who go like, oh, I really love what you guys are doing. Could I have a conversation? Then again, I put out like, we're currently hiring for a producer. Anyone seeing this, and then you get fucking loads. And they're like, that sounds like fun. How do I get in on that? Yeah. And that's super exciting. Super, super exciting.
Yeah. So talking about, the normal sort of publishing cadence of the Sidemen, we've talked about Inside, which is, but in terms of the regular Sidemen Sundays and other content, tell us through what a publishing schedule kind of looks like for the Sidemen at the moment.
The company now, Sidemen Entertainment, consists of 50 people. We just crossed over 50 full-time staff. With our freelancers that we use regularly, so what we consider the whole Sidemen machine, we're 92. Each week we produce 11 YouTube videos, or Side Plus videos is accounted for in that 11 as well. And that operates independently through different teams with key stakeholders. So there's a key stakeholder leading the main channel. There's a key stakeholder leading the post-production. There's a key stakeholder leading the second channel and the third channel. And there's a key stakeholder leading the Side Plus. So collectively they produce alongside, very standard setup. You will get in your creative producers. They will pre-prod, they'll go into shooting, and then they'll go into post. And they almost independently run next to all the other machines that kind of in parallel are standing next to each other. And when things get rough, we call everyone in. It's what we call trenches season. So when we're doing Inside, we all go, okay, this is shit we don't actually know how to do. So let's all come together. And we use this referencing back to it. We say that we're kind of like a band on tour. So everyone just pulls up to a set that we haven't really been on that much. And we all kind of just fucking go for it. And then you walk out of it and you're like, this was fucking horrible and the best thing I've ever done. My favorite thing that's happened is when we were on the American season, we had a producer come in. Her name's Tabitha. And she was like, what in the fuck is going on here, day one? She was looking at these 23-year-olds running around. Like, I told them as well, like, it's going to be some 19-year-old that tells you you're doing something wrong and you're just going to have to accept it. But if they're rude, you fucking tell me, because we're not rude. Like, when we're right, we think we're right, but you're not rude to each other. And she was like, what the fuck is going on? And then day 5, she sat down in our morning sync where we talk about the story and stuff. And she goes, I'm having so much fun. And I'm like, when was the last time we said that on a set? And I was like, I don't know. And then someone went, we need a costume for today. And she said, last time I went to a Halloween party, I was a burger. And she sent someone to her house. And one of the key moments in the show now is them buying her a burger outfit and then getting eliminated in it. And I was just like, would that have happened? Like, why did you feel the confidence to do that? Did you feel comfortable around us? I think we're building this sort of like momentum of, it's fucking fun. And I know what happens to that. It's not forever. I know it's not going to be forever. The same way the 90s wasn't forever. The same way like Big Brother wasn't forever. But right now, it feels like we're just creating something that's really fun. And the week on week is like you have like 75% of your work is like get these videos done. 25% of it is let's fucking find something out. Yeah. That's kind of how it runs and how it looks.
Well, that was what I was going to ask you actually. You've had such an amazing, well, I'd say probably 2-3 years as opposed to last year, but and that general growth and I'll say acceptance by the TV industry or the media industry as a whole. But you've very much moved into the mainstream. What have you learned in that time personally?
I thought making videos was this experience where a bunch of friends come together and you press record and you come up with something fun and it's a cool idea. Making TV is fucking hard. That I think is a major, you can't just walk around and say we can fucking do anything. You have to kind of look at it and go there's a reason they became what they became. You could have stopped earlier, but there is structure, there is quality control, there are things in this industry and there's a real art to it as well, which I'm often very against, the idea that I don't want it to feel artsy. I want it to be entertainment. I love people who are proud of unscripted, for example. And I just love the idea that if you create something that makes people laugh, that should just be hailed as something really, really great. But I've learned that I think it takes more than you expect And if you're the new kid on the block, it's easy to go and say, nah, fuck this. We're going to do it our way. But there's a reason that it's done a certain way. So we have accepted some of that to bring that into our production as well. The second one is that there is actually real, like, almost like a cozy vibe in TV. And I think even coming here now, I never even knew what this was, like a week ago, right? But like everyone's kind of friends, even if they've like lost the commission or if they've like been at it during a production. Everyone kind of seems to come together and be quite friendly. Which in our world, it feels more like there's this corporate beast that stands off in the horizon. You're kind of like terrified of them. And when they come close, they do one thing, they kill the fun. But it doesn't seem to be that case here. It's a lot of people having fun, doing things, and like really thinking about what the future of this is. And as you said, I think there's a real announcement here. And I wasn't here for the last year's one. But they seem to be very much saying the creator economy, or the creators in general, they're probably part of this now. And we have to kind of see that. So that's also like a learning that we are being more accepted and being seen, I think.
Well, final question. We're going to be having a chat on stage on the 6th of November at the Digital Content Forum.
You are.
And we've called the session Inside, the Sideman's Guide to Creating Winning Formats. So what can anyone expect? What can other delegates expect from our chat?
I think that what we did with Inside was to challenge, and I mean, I've said this a couple of times, we challenged what a post-production, pre-production, and a shooting experience should look like. And we have adapted from the first season, but we were challenging what it means to produce a reality format. We challenged what it means to cast. I know that there's very clear character roles that you have to cast for when you do traditional. We have basically taken every single aspect of making a reality show, questioned it, and then kept what we thought was right and fucked off what we thought was wrong. And I want to tell that story. And maybe also price point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Well, Victor, enjoy the flowing champagne of Cannes.
Lovely.
And we'll see you on the croissant, I'm sure, later on tonight, and we'll have a drink together. But it's brilliant to see you. Thanks.
100%. Thank you so much.
Okay, hi, my name's Andy Fry. I'm here at MIPCOM on behalf of TellyCast and The Drop, and I'm with Jay Bennett, who's a senior strategist at Shaftesbury. Jay, lovely to see you.
Yeah, great to
in the
see
flesh after so many years
As
on
we were
digital.
saying, yes. It's...
Yeah, and tell me first of all a little bit about your role and about Shaftesbury.
Yeah, certainly. Shaftesbury is one of Canada's leading producers. I'll use the word of content, really of television, long-running drama series, both script, episodic and serialized. But we've also since early 2010s been playing in the digital space, original branded scripted entertainment, social fan engagement, building fandoms across platforms. Recently we've gotten into the Roblox space, fan activations, touring symphonies. So we're really, and great credit to Christina Jennings, the CEO, she's always looked at not just making shows, but building brands. And so my role has been, for the last on and off 15 years with the company, coming in and helping to do that. So we've got the show. Now how do we build that out, extend it, find new ways to bring audience in with discoverability, etc.
Brilliant. So it's interesting because I think our conversation is going to be very much about TV's intersection with digital. But in your notes ahead of the interview, you were talking about being marketers, which is quite an interesting idea. So tell me about that idea of being producers as marketers, and particularly around your flagship show, the Murdoch Mysteries.
Absolutely. Broadcasters are wonderful, but I think more so than ever, they can only, and sometimes will only do so much when it comes to marketing. And so I think that puts a lot of onus on the producer. But we're up for that challenge. And so, look, it's not working with huge dollars, nor do I think you need to work with huge dollars to do that. I think you just need to think about where your audience is. I think, in my opinion, in Shaftesbury's opinion, profit is not first, right? It's more like showing the value of the brand, the love of the brand, showing broadcasters the power of the brand. So with Murdoch, which is season 19 now, over 300 episodes. Yeah. How have we been doing that? Number of ways. We've launched fast channels in Canada, and now with our partners moving to the US and Europe. We've looked at fan activation. So as I mentioned earlier, we're doing touring symphonies across Canada. It's fascinating to see the power of that. At a recent one we did in Victoria, BC, over 50% of that audience had never been to the symphony before. And at the same time, a traditional symphony that's selling about 66% of the house, doing these activations with Murdoch Mysteries is increasing that house count to 90%. So that's a new way to find audience. We've started a curriculum project with Murdoch Mysteries. We're in schools, piloting now, so we're in 50 classrooms. The pilot we did last year with 5 classrooms, a couple great stats out of that. It actually raised test scores. So average test score from 77% to 90% in grades 5 to 9. But then for the brand, 63% of the kids who took part said, I want to keep watching Murdoch Mysteries outside of the classroom when I go home. We've been playing in Roblox as a place to meet our audience, and we did that as part of an extension digital series we did called Macy Murdoch. We've now turned those into a series of movies. We're very lucky in Canada. There's a lot of great support from funders that allow us to do that. The Shaw Rocket Fund, the CMF, the Bell Fund help us do that, along with broadcasters, right? Great power to CBC, who've been very willing and open to helping us explore this. Starting next week, we're doing live tours. So we have a 3-year waiting list for our live tours. People coming from the UK, from America, to come for a 7-day tour, explore our sets, meet our cast, do special activations we've created. And even when it comes to M&L, we're launching a tea soon. There'll be a board game coming next year. So in that sort of broad stroke ramble, right? I think all of that and more is always about, okay, how do we ultimately bring them back to the show? How do we bring them back to the brand? But what we're seeing is new audience come in through all this. And it's not just that core audience. We're bringing in youth. We're bringing in new audience from other places.
Yeah, interesting. Let's dig into a couple of points. So what would happen if God forbid, Murdoch Mysteries was cancelled? Would the content you have still be enough in itself to kind of keep the world of your brand extensions, your brand activations going? I mean, have you got a big enough asset now that it can live forever?
It will live forever. Yeah. And, God forbid, look, things have their cycle. We're quite bullish about the power of this brand in the market. But to that, yes, I think we see it as building, and it's that word fandom. But I think fandom has strength, fandom has value. And what we've done, I think, by building that strength across a number of platforms that we ultimately sort of, I don't say that word own, but we can speak directly to them, whether it's bringing them a new way to activate the show, bringing a spin-off. I do have this bold vision, dream that, you could get to that point. And I think maybe it's part of the models that we're seeing here at the market. That could you turn to an audience, not today, but if you build that strong enough 3-5 years ago from now, and through some subscription, through some fan-funded experience, self-produce a season.
Yeah, there are models developing, aren't there?
I think that's absolutely a possibility.
Yeah. Go a bit more into Macy Murdoch. Really interesting. What did you do there? What's Macy Murdoch about?
Macy Murdoch is the great-great-granddaughter of Detective William Murdoch. So Murdoch Mysteries set in 1910. How do we reach younger audience? 8 to 12 plus was the objective. We figured out a way to bring Murdoch to modern-day high school in 2025 through his great-great-granddaughter's eyes. Just so happens she discovers a time machine and jumps back to the past to solve mysteries alongside her great-great-grandfather. Started as a digital series. We've done 2 seasons there. Season 1, great. I think we really discovered the characters. Season 2, in partnership with CBC, we really set out for discoverability. How do we reach wider with this? We did that in a few ways. One, all episodes went on YouTube, and with CBC's support globally, not geo-blocked to Canada, that was a big step. That was a big change. That was awesome to see. We put the episodes on TikTok as verticals. Again, a new discoverability engine. That drove a lot of interest. And then we did a collaboration with a popular Roblox game to bring to life a portion of 1910 Toronto. You actually get to, with Macy, travel back in time and solve a mystery in Roblox. That approached as a marketing activation as opposed to a let's build a Roblox game from scratch. That did over 128 million unique plays in 5 weeks, which ultimately led a portion back to YouTube. So great views on that. But we're always trying to think, as I think everyone is, how do you do more with this content? We've cut them into movies. So we have 2 movies here at the market, Rainmaker's distributing them. We're also looking for other ways to sort of promote the brand. Shaw Rocket Fund, who's a great supporter of Canadian content, is helping us even do, we've put out some ads to promote those movies, the Roblox pieces. So yeah, that's a bit about that. But I think, again, even if you go back to what I said about the curriculum project, it's allowed us to put this teenage Macy character into that. And so as we're talking to young kids, high school students, through the eyes of the brand, well, in a way now we've given them a contemporary to see the brand with. So, we're always trying to look at how we can find value in sort of a rubric of not just one activation, but what are all the different ways we can use it.
So all of the learnings you've had from the Murdoch franchise, how are you taking that out into other Shaftesbury IP?
Great. It's our time machine moment to sort of take these learnings and go back now to new projects we're bringing to life. One would be Slow Pitch, about a queer female baseball team. Slow Pitch, it's called, and it's coming to market. Just going to camera now. There we've thought about doing talent integration. So we've got a great female Japanese baseball player, the first ever woman to play for a men's professional sports league. Okay. She's a character in it. We've done a brand integration with an excellent beer company, and not just beer for beer, one that really reflects the queer values of the series and is connected to baseball. So I think there'll be lots of earned media opportunities around that story in future, as well as we've actually have a product we've created, our own beer, that will be on shelves when the show launches. We've also got for instance, we're doing a new show, a vet series, 1 hour vet series. How do we think about building content beyond what I'll call traditional EPK? So there we're looking at actually creating, let's call it a parallel brand that can exist well before the show launches and well after. That would use YouTube as the primary hub and then break out on social. So to do that, we've got these animals, we've got these great characters. We know from our show Hudson and Rex with a dog content destroys on social. People love that. And we have sort of that how it's made, animals on TV. So we're going to embed a team into the production for the entire duration, to each episode with 3 animals. Think of all the interesting stories we can tell, not just about how that animal is trained for that stunt that might take place, what are they eating, how do they prepare for set. I think we can go and create that parallel brand on social that should support the series, and that would create opportunities maybe for brand integration around that. So those are 2 examples of us sort of trying to take the learnings and apply them to the future.
Brilliant. So obviously we're here in Cannes. You're here selling programming, which, MIPCOM has traditionally been about buying and selling programming and financing programming. But there's been a very strong emphasis on the creator economy. Yeah. YouTube have been a big presence. What do you make of that? What do you make of YouTube's presence here at the center of this TV market?
I've attended some of the panels. Brand Summit's also here as a major player. And so, look, it's fascinating to sit in and see it through, I guess, my eyes, having experienced it, but at the same time see it through, let's call it traditional producers' eyes. I think it's absolutely no longer the outlier of the conversation. I would say, I think the piece missing as we talk about, and look, every panel ends with someone saying, don't be afraid, get in the space, you should do it, which everyone should. I would just say, I think there needs to be a bit more conversation around how long it actually takes. Right? It sounds like I'm on YouTube. It's all, yes, but to build audience and to build sustained audience and build meaningful, true engagement, I would say, look, time is money, but it's not really necessarily the high cost of it, because it doesn't need to be high cost. You can be in these spaces with a point of view and a phone, but it is not instantaneous, and I think it needs to be consistent. It needs to be, as everyone says, great content, but it also needs enough runway. And if I think back to some experiences I've had in the past making original scripted for brands, that's always been the big challenge, and I think still is brands view the timeline for a story still through the timeline as they view an ad, which is, this is a 3-week campaign, this is a 6-week campaign. But I think to build meaningful fandom around a story, that's a 6 to 18 month journey. And so I would say it's great that YouTube's here. It's great that we're talking about brands. My wish would be, I think we could go just a bit deeper into the realities of doing that, as opposed to necessarily just the great case studies.
Yeah. And of course, you have experience. I mean, you years ago you made Carmilla.
Yes.
And you have your own channel, don't you? Is it Kinda TV?
Kinda TV right now. Yes, Carmilla for us, we did about 8 original branded series, from working with Walmart to the Royal Bank of Canada to Tetley Tea. Carmilla with You by Kotex was absolutely our greatest breakthrough there. I think we hit the right niche of niche. I'll use that word. I think we found the right audience in the right place at the right time. But it's interesting, right? Even there's lessons. I think for us at that time, we were really proud of the organic engagement. This is back in 2016. We were so excited about what you could do without ad buy. So we were driving millions of views, millions of fans around the world. We did 3 seasons, short form, but 100 episodes. We did a fan-funded movie. We did a book. We did a tour. But we were doing that all organically. I think the time machine moment for me there is we should have at that point gone and actually used almost now the rules of digital, which is you do have to put dollars behind your content. To yes, organic will give you that bump, but then you need to sort of continue to bump the balloon into the air. That would be my lesson there on that one.
Yeah, brilliant. Let's wrap up with just a couple of general thoughts. So again, talking a lot about the creator economy. How are creators beginning to impact on what you do? How are you working with creators?
Great example, back to Murdoch Mysteries. Jason Mewes, who is most famous as part of Jay and Silent Bob from the Kevin Smith films. We discovered, he reached out to us, like a huge Murdoch fan. More so than some of us. Like his knowledge, he's watched every episode. Thank you, Fast Channels. We gave him it started traditionally, right? How about we give you a guest spot in an episode? He'll be in one later this season, in season 19. But while on set, we were already thinking about rewatch podcasts. How do we go and create more original content that can allow these new audiences in? I think that's sometimes a barrier, right? With especially if you think 300 episodes, where do I even start? Yeah. How can we create a vehicle to allow new audience in? And Jason, as this fan who was out there telling the story himself on social to his friends, hey, you should watch this show. So we've gone and done a pilot. It actually launched about 5 days ago. We did an hour and 40-minute rewatch podcast of season 1 of episode 19. We had our star, Yannick Besson, on it. We had Countess Luann, who's a big Bravo star who also had a guest spot. That's doing exactly what we hoped. So I looked yesterday, hundreds of comments from all these people who had never even heard of it, talking about, thank you, Jason, I'm already 6 episodes in. I'm already 1 season in. I think that's a great example of, and now our hope is to do a full season rewatch and see where that goes. More and more, we are thinking about how creators can use our IP, our brands, in a respectful way, a controlled way, to tell those stories and reach new audience. Yeah.
That's a really interesting point. I was going to be one of my questions. I mean, you have to be willing to let go your IP to some extent, don't you? Let people play with it, which is not a traditional mindset.
I've had that conversation. Look, I've had that conversation a few times, and I think through a traditional lens, that's scary. I have 2 points to that. One, they'll do it anyways. But 2, and this is the truth, any creator worth their salt, they have a brand. So they're not in the business of going and starting to do things that are harmful to your brand. They want it to be successful. So I think you just want to be clever in who you're partnering with and make sure there's a value alignment. But other than that, what a wonderful opportunity to reach new audience in new ways. And again, as I said, bring them back to the brand. I'm very pro that, yes.
Okay, final question. This week, I think the hot topic of the week perhaps has been microdrama, vertical drama.
Yes.
Omdia said that it's going to be twice as valuable this year as Fast.
Yes.
What do you make of microdrama as opposed to Fast?
First lesson, and this is a MIP lesson. Vertical and microdrama, as I now understand it, are different things. Microdrama is very much like saying, these are my words, a rom-com, right? It is a genre. Vertical is a format. So I'm going to talk about vertical. Because vertical is what's exciting to me, because that can move beyond, I think, what we're currently typically associating with that format, which is more soapy. But vertical, that can do drama, that can do comedy, that can do horror, that's really exciting. I want to do some experiments there, absolutely. I've already wondered, and look, this is a first test, but could we shoot our next digital series in both formats simultaneously? I think that's interesting. Again, putting out the same story on multiple platforms, one 16:9, one vertical. And then two, when I was at the panel with Holy Water and Fox is in that space, 200 originals they're doing. I'm interested in that, right? Like, I think about, again, Shaftesbury as a company that is very comfortable working in many different mediums, telling quality stories at a range of budgets. I absolutely think that's a conversation we want to be in. Again, how can we not only create new IP and new audience there that could move, but I'm also of the belief, and as I'm sure many are, you may not have to move. I do think vertical is a meaningful format that has long legs. I think we agree that it's not a flash in the pan, as some other flavors of the moment have been in the past. VR, which is still not finding a way. I think vertical can move much faster than that.
Yeah, it'd be handy to have that time machine now to know whether you're right about that, wouldn't it? Brilliant. Well, Jay Bennett, lovely to talk to you.
Yeah, great
Thank
chat.
you for your insights.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Thanks.
Well, that's about it for part one of our TellyCast MIPCOM special. I hope you enjoyed the show. Check out our second episode coming up next week. Want to get ahead in digital-first content? The Drop is the go-to newsletter for industry professionals, delivering insider news, trends, and insights straight to your inbox. Navigate the fast-changing landscape of digital-first production, distribution, and monetization. Sign up now for free at dropmedia.co.uk and stay informed with The Drop.